I want to call to order the Amberley Council meeting of August 14th. Please call the roll.
Rich Barda. Here. Peg Conway.
Here.
Ed Hattenbach.
Here.
Alita Kamine. Here. Tom Eving.
Here.
Ray Warren.
Here.
Natalie Wolf.
Here.
Scott Larmer.
Here.
Kevin Frank.
Here.
Keith Wallace.
Here.
Rick Kay.
Here. Everyone, please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item on the agenda is our minutes from our meeting of July 10th, 2017. The minutes were circulated in the package to all council members. Are there any changes, additions, or deletions to those minutes? If not, we can consider the minutes approved. We'll now move on to the finance report for June 2017.
A summary of the UAN report has been included in your council packet. We're talking about the month of June. So revenue from the earnings tax totaled $257,000 this past month. This is up about 5% from June of 2016's collection. That brings our total year to date of just slightly under $1.5 million. And our estimate for the year is $3 million. So we're at that, almost at that 50% range. The local government fund netted $5,200 last month. Revenue in total for the month was $258,000, and that brings our total collection so far to date of $2.5 million. So our revenue estimate was 4.8 overall, so we're about 53% of collections of overall revenue. The expenses for the month of June totaled $266,000, and brings us to a total of $2.2 million of our $4.6 million budget. So we've expended about 47% of the general fund budget. And that leaves our general fund with an unencumbered general fund balance of $5.3 million. And that concludes my report.
Are there any questions for the manager? If not, we'll move on to committee reports. And as chair of the Land Development Committee, I will make the report. The committee met on July 31st and discussed the next two items on the agenda. First, before you tonight is Resolution 2017-25, which would authorize a contract with MKSK Landscape Architecture. As you all recall, as we came into 2017 and in late 2016, Council did discuss the need to get some help for the village manager to address some land planning issues, specifically as we think about Amberley Green. We did not do anything earlier this year because we wanted to hold off to the right point. And now with having entered into the letter of intent with the Jewish Community Center and moving on to the next phase of their consideration of the work they might want to consider doing at the property, it really was the right time to do it. So thankfully, the manager is very busy, as we all know, but we are very lucky to have a resident who, Mr. Frank Davis, who has agreed to help us as we consider this, and Mr. Davis is eminently qualified to help in this area as a retired development director for the city of Montgomery and a resident of Amberley, and somebody who feels very passionately about the Amberley Green property since he lives within a couple hundred yards of the property, and he wants to make sure that we do the right thing on that property. So Mr. Davis helped the village manager, and what we did was went out to 3 firms seeking their proposals. The 3 firms were Bear Becker Engineers, Kleiningers, and MKSK. They each submitted their proposals. The village manager and Mr. Davis considered those proposals and came to the Land Development Committee with a recommendation to employ MKSK in this work The work will be done, this first part of the work will be done in 2 phases. The first phase will specifically look at the Jewish Community Center and what they're proposing and whether that's the right thing from an Amberley perspective for the property. And, you know, MKSK as someone who has done a lot of work with things like, somewhat very similar to this, I think is a great firm to help us out. The second part of the work will look at the rest of the property and get us a better understanding of what's doable on the property, what makes sense for the property. I think this is something we as council have struggled with over the last few years. We have committed to always communicate with residents about this, and we will be doing that again. But to really get some professional help on this project, I think is a great move forward. So I would like to move that we authorize the village manager to enter into a contract with MKSK Landscape. The Land Development Committee, as I said, did meet and unanimously agreed to recommend MKSK to the council. So I would like to move that we adopt Resolution 2017-25, authorizing a contract with MKSK. Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2017-25. And I do want to mention that Mr. Cleet Bankin from MKSK is here with us this evening, as well as Mr. Davis. So if there are any specific questions that they can help, they are here to be able to answer those. Are there any questions or comments?
I have one question regarding the contract, which is paragraph 3 on page 3, Scott. It says, all work described is expected to be completed within approximately 6 months. Now, we're talking about 6 months from the date of execution of the contract, or is this going to be 6 months worth of work?
So typically, it's about 6 months worth of work, but part of the what we're trying to do here is define when that work will begin. So they'll be given a notice to proceed so that we can begin on the review of the Jewish Community Center portion of it. Now, the residual property, that still is unfolding as to when that's going to occur. But I think the most important thing is MKSK has assured me that they are working on our time frame. So when we want them to work, they will move forward, and just depending on what the situation is with our review of the Jewish Community Center portion.
Thank you.
And I should mention that the estimated cost of this contract is $15,500.
Thank you. So I support this, certainly, and thank you for being here today. And I'm on the Land Development Committee and made some comments at that meeting that I just wanted to share. And also first, certainly thank the manager and MKSK had some comments specific to the agreement, similar to the kind of the nature of what you just asked that we worked through already, and I appreciate that. I think this is, to just reiterate some of the things that the mayor said, a really important step for us to sort of have this professional guidance and this professional help to really understand what our asset is. I don't think it's something that we've done in this way ever. And to really undertake this kind of look under the hood at what we're really talking about, what's realistic here and what's not, and hopefully will really help us focus and know what we're talking about. It also obviously is imperative that when we're working with the JCC that this is a huge part of our due diligence with the JCC, that this is something that we have a lot of gut feelings, but having experts really help us. And I think it's all good. I wanted to just clarify the thing that was of greatest concern to me and I got comfort on, but I want to assure residents who may be concerned about this, this is not asking MKSK to draw out the plan for what's going to go on this property. This is not us skipping over the public comments and the public process. This is not us having a preordained outcome and coming back with a plan that's going to say, you know, our recommendation is put a bunch of retail here. Like, this is the plan. You know, that's absolutely not the goal. It's not the plan. This is about land use, and you know, and so I just want to clarify that, make sure we're all, you know, voting on the same page too for that. So, thank you. I think also I'm very confident that MKSK was the right choice here, so thank you to Frank Davis and to the manager and others too. So we look forward to working with you on this.
Any other questions or comments? If not, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2017-25, which would authorize a contract with MKSK Landscaping. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Be it noted that the resolution passes unanimously. The other item we discussed on July 31st related to the north site and the development with Mercy Medical, the Mercy Medical office building for that site. As council will recall, we entered into a lease of 2 acres on that property late last year. And the development of that building has been underway since then. The building is now very visible and looks very good. I think it'll be a great addition to the village and a great thing to put on the property. But as with any development, the one thing that's out there are easements that we have to grant to the utilities coming onto the property. So this before you tonight is an easement for the electric coming on for the building. The electric will, it'll be an underground line that runs roughly from the edge of the service drive into the edge of the parking lot to serve the electric for the building. It will be an easement, I think, of 15 feet wide. Is that right? 15 feet wide and for the electric. We will also have future easements for both the gas and the sewers work that we will have to consider in the future. But I hereby move that we adopt Resolution 2017-26, which would authorize the village manager to enter into a contract with Duke Energy, granting them an easement to bring electric onto the lease site for the Mercy Medical office building. Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2017-26, authorizing the village manager to grant Duke an easement for electric related to the Mercy Medical building. Are there any questions or comments? If not, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2017-26. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Be it noted that the resolution passes unanimously. And that completes the report of the Land Development Committee. We will now move on to the management report.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to mention a few items from the manager's report. There has certainly been an increase in the number of complaints about property maintenance throughout the village. And so the administration as well as police have been responsive to that, and we have sent out a significant number of letters over what we normally do. We have followed up with that in regards to the August E-News. We've informed the residents how they could self-report, not on themselves, but on an adjacent property that they might be familiar with. And we'll also be sending a postcard out to residents, making them aware of those types of issues that they should be paying attention to, as well as when they need to get a permit through the village and then ultimately through Hamilton County. I also wanted to mention in regards to, I have an item in the manager's report about a urban land assistance program grant that was being sought. The staff submitted this grant and had the opportunity to make a presentation on it the previous week, and we have been successful in receiving the grant. So we are going to be getting $20,000 from the Urban Land Assistance Program, so ULAP is what it's referred to. And then we've also have $10,000 lined up from a CDBG grant. So we'll have a total of $30,000 to be able to allocate towards the asbestos remediation at the Amberley Green Clubhouse. We anticipate that project will occur yet this year at a cost of about $90,000 to $95,000 for the asbestos abatement. And that's our responsibility as the property owner to get that taken care of. So we're quite pleased with being able to secure the grant funds to assist in that expense. I also wanted to do a shout out to Officer Chris Fritsch. You're aware that a few months ago you approved the you accepted monies in regards to a donation for the dive boat. And most recently, that dive boat, well, actually, it's been used a couple times. But the one I'm referring to is on July 30th. It was used over in the Whitewater River, where a fisherman who actually drowned in the river was rescued. The boat was used on that site, and Chris was intimately involved with that. So just another reiteration how appreciative folks have been of the village's actions on that. And now the Hamilton County Police Association is in search of donations for a vehicle to pull that boat. So we're on the path for the next one. And the last item is a fun item. It's just in regards to tomorrow is the City Hall Selfie Day. If you're not familiar with this, there is an organization that has promoted City Hall Selfie Day. It is the 15th of August. And tomorrow, we're encouraging our community to take pictures out in front of the municipal building and post it on social media. I'm sorry?
Is there a hashtag?
Yes, there is a hashtag. It's hashtag City Hall Selfie. Okay? Hashtag City Hall Selfie. Yes, I would encourage you to take one tonight and post it tomorrow. So we will kick that off tomorrow. We'll have one posted. So I encourage you to play along with it. Encourage your neighbors and friends to post other selfies as well. And that concludes my report.
I do want to, for those residents that view this on video and for other residents, I think it's always useful when we talk about the dive boat to always bring up the fact that this is something that is part of the Hamilton County Police Association. And what happened in this case was someone made a donation to replace the boat that was 40 years old and badly in need of repair. And the way the Police Association works is that one of the participating communities, in this case Amberley, accepts the donation and then goes out and expends the money. It is not our money, but we are the legal owner of that boat, and we make it available to the Police Association. And Officer Frisch is one of the important members of the dive team, and was very active in soliciting that contribution. So again, this is not Amberley Village money, but it is something that is very important activity, and is one of those activities that not any individual police organization could do. And this is a great thing that where the various police organizations informally get together to be able to work together. And the dive team is made up of members of the police forces from throughout Hamilton County. So again, a very, very good thing, and I'm happy that Officer Frisch was given his shout out for it. Are there any questions for the manager?
No question. Is the north side property on schedule for occupancy the end of this year? Oh, I'm sorry. Question is, the north side property still on schedule for occupancy the end of the year?
Yeah, the medical office building being built on the north site is currently under construction. Brick is being laid. If you haven't been by there recently, you'll see the walls are going up, and it is slated to be open for business on January 1. They're planning on moving in sometime in December. It is on schedule, so they're moving forward, yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the manager? If not, we will move on to the chief's report.
Just real quick, I just want to touch a couple of things. Over the past month and a half, we've had a series of a lot of car break-ins. There's a couple of different groups going around town. We have identified 2 of them, made an arrest, and we're pretty sure we know who a couple of the other ones are now. And they're not just hitting Amberley, they're hitting all other communities. But we're making it easy for them because we're leaving our wallets and purses and checkbooks and things like that in our cars, and we're leaving our cars unlocked. So again, I just stress that residents, again, be aware of this, lock your cars and report things to us. Last week it brought to my attention that someone seen somebody in their backyard again recently, but they call us, 2 days later and talk about it. you know, if we see something, say something, call us, because we want to know. We'd rather set an officer out at the time. Lately, we've actually had some great call-ins from residents, and I think that that's assisted us in preventing some crimes that have been occurring, because they're noticing things, they're calling things in and reporting it, and we want that to continue. That's the end of my report.
Any questions for the chief? Now we'll move on to the mayor's report, and I just really have one item. I think all members of council saw the note from Angela Robertshaw from Pleasant Ridge Montessori asking for nominations for the LSDMC rep, which stands for Local School Design or Decision Making Committee. Angela has indicated to me that what they're not really necessarily looking for someone who has children at the school or anything like that. They have that covered. It's more a community member who is passionate about schools and as I say, it's not necessary that they have children in this school. I ask that the council members think about this as to whether there be someone who makes sense, and then we can target to have the nomination made at our September meeting. Okay, that concludes my report. Are there any questions for the mayor?
Procedurally, do we then, if we come up with a suggestion, do we send it to you, or is this a vote of council, or your appointment from our, how is this work?
This is one that is not provided for in our charter. Therefore, I think it should be a council appointment. So if you think of someone, please let me know. And you know, to the extent we get a number of them, maybe we'll have to have a meeting of the committee. In this case, it would probably be the Health, Education, and Welfare Committee. Consider that ahead of the next council. If not, we will move on to new business. Is there any new business?
I'm speaking on behalf of Addith Israel congregation. Last week they had a big kosher barbecue event, and Mary Stillcast was in charge of the security logistics, and she wanted me to pass on our thanks to the Amberley Police and our Public Works for making sure everything ran smoothly and helping with security and the layout and just everything they did. It'll be even better next year because of our experience this year.
I was going to say that just from us to say thank you, to send the message back to the congregation that it was an amazing event. It was incredibly well attended. A lot of just a cross section of the community in a way that I don't think the congregation necessarily expected, and it was really fantastic to see. And I think it's just amazing that we have these kind of events in Amberley. So please take that back to them and tell them that we appreciate it.
I wanted one more thing. I copied for all of you the letter from the Cincinnati Board of Rabbis, and many of them are right here in Amberley, either congregational rabbis or rabbis that work in Jewish agencies. And the letter is a beautiful letter speaking to the trans community and how it relates, how Judaism accepts the trans community. And I encourage everybody to read this, and I'm just very proud of our Board of Rabbis and our Amberley rabbis as well.
Anything else? Oh, yeah. The Ice Cream Social is this Sunday. This is an annual event. It's really the only community event besides meetings, etc. It's a fun event that we sponsor every year. Amy Rubenstein has been the individual who has worked it along with the Chiefs team putting this on every year. It is this Sunday from 6 to 8 out here on the village grounds. I'm sure that there will be a lot of fun activities for the children as well as the adults, so please attend if you can. Anything else? If not, we can consider the meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.